Hello and welcome back. I'm attempting to make a scientific instrument called a storm glass here on the Jasa channel. I wanted to make two different designs today, the classic cylinder and a sphere. And so I'm starting out on this 50mm standard wall tubing. The diameter is pretty big, but the walls are pretty thin. So I'm using my center fire just to cut right through it. I'm being a little extra careful not to rip that wall. I want it to melt down into two sides to create two large vials. And it would be good to melt those ends down a little bit to help thicken them up. However, the tubes are getting a little bit hotter than normal. That extra air inside is heating up and expanding outside of the vessel through this hole at the top. And so it's heating up the entire tube. So I'll have to hold my hand a little bit farther away, like on this longer one. And now I'm going to pop the hole on the end. I'm going to heat up the area where I want to place the hole first, and then go back in with a very bushy flame as I puff through the tube. This helps melt back any bubble trash or glass debris that might pop out. And so I let the tube cool for about 5 to 10 minutes there. And now I'm going to go and flame cut another section in the middle. I'm basically breaking the tube down into large vial sections. And that hole in the end was important to keep the tubes from closing up completely. It not only gives me access to the inside of the tube, but it keeps the tube from trapping air, which will become negatively pressured as it cools down. And now to blow out the round vessel, I'll be using a thicker tubing, a 40 by 5. I'm going to turn on my second stage for a larger flame and try to hold it right in the middle. You can kind of see how the flame wraps around both sides. I'll keep rotating until I see the walls begin to condense inward, and then I'll start to give it a slight pull and melt it into two sections. I'll end up with a lot of extra glass on the end. And so while it's still hot, I'm going to start to puff it out. And then I'll puff out the other one also. This is just a preparation step to even out the end. So as it cools, it doesn't gather up a lot of stress. I'll be setting that longer tube aside and be using the smaller one for the project. I'm going to pop a small hole in the end of it, but before I do that, I'm going to melt it down and puff it out a couple times to help even out that wall. You might have noticed working things very evenly and in balance is a very important part of the process. And so this 40 by 5 is cold to the touch. It's definitely not heating up like that 50 by 2 was. I'll go ahead and pop another hole here in the flame. I'm going to brush it against the edge of the flame and try to pop a hole at the end. A lot of times this is difficult to center out, so you can always adjust it with a tool if you need. And the hole was too small, so I'll reheat the area around it and puff through the tube. The air coming through will force it open. And then I'll flare it a little bit more with my jacks to connect up to a blow tube. And then to open up this blow tube, I'll use what I like to call the bubble rip, blowing out an ultra thin bubble and then ripping it open in the flame. I'll melt the rest of that bubble back and then flare it open with the jacks. I'll go ahead and flare it out once, but then melt it back a little bit and flare it out again. This will make it a little bit wider and a little bit thicker to connect up to this large tubing. I'm going to heat up both surfaces to molten and connect them in the flame. I'll keep rotating it while I give it just a little bit of a pull to stretch out the extra glass there from the connection. And I'm going to go back into the center and flame cut another section off. The section attached to the blow tube will become the snow glass vessel, while the other one will be stored away for later. And now I do spend quite a bit of time breaking down these tubes. They get shipped out up to 5 feet in length. but I only use about half a foot of it at a time. And so I have to break it down at least 3 times in order to get a half-foot tube, or 6 times if I'm trying to break down the entire thing, which is good to do for practice or to prepare your projects ahead of time. You can also use rollers, but if you're just starting out, I would actually recommend against rollers, just so you can build that muscle memory and the strength needed to hold these heavy tubes. Don't forget to like and share this video. And so I've never actually seen a snow glass before. This was a birthday request from a subscriber. So I want to say, happy birthday! I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I don't know how the testing phase will go, so I can't make any promises there. Without seeing one in person, I'm not entirely sure what the effects are that I'm trying to recreate. But I think I understand the liquid compound inside. It seems to be a mixture of liquids which are at different densities, along with what I believe is salt. And so I'm thinking it might be similar to the Galileo thermometer. As the liquids change in temperature, they begin to either expand or contract at different rates. And maybe that begins to raise and stack the salt up, and the water between it begins to freeze, forming crystals. That's kind of a random hypothesis. I don't have all the ingredients either, and I'm going to substitute a few of the other ones. But I'll do my best here, and we'll see what happens. And so I got a pretty nice even sphere. I'm starting to flatten the bottom now. I'm going to heat it back up and set it upright on the graphite pad. This will help that bottom slump into position. This can definitely be a difficult process. And I'm going to try to stretch it out a little bit with my claw grabbers. That way I can melt down a fine neck. You can attach a punty instead to the bottom of the vessel instead of the claw grabbers. That will give you a little bit more control, but it is a very stressful spot, and so it might start a crack if you let it cool down too quickly. And now I'll go back into the flame and pop a tiny hole. And then from there I can rip the rest of it open without it closing up on me. And now I'll go ahead and put it in the kiln for about 30 minutes. I don't want to take too much time here as that bottom could crack. And here it is. It's looking pretty cool. I have the cylinder one also. I'm going to fill up both of them and seal them up. And so I'm substituting quite a few of the ingredients here. I'm starting out with some coarse salt and then some fine salt. Followed up with some distilled water, salt water, isopropyl alcohol, and then some lamp oil. The lamp oil is supposed to be a substitute for camphor. And now I never used camphor before. I was assuming it only came in an oil variety, but I think it's actually a solid. I'll admit that chemistry is definitely not one of my specialties. I like to study more of theoretical physics, but to get anywhere in there, you do need a baseline of the other sciences. And now I'm going to try to seal this vessel up, which is something you normally don't want to do, sealing a vessel, because as the air inside warms up, it will begin to expand, which will increase the pressure inside the vessel until it explodes. And so I was telling myself to not heat the vessel directly, just add glass to it. But of course I start going against my own advice, and I ended up blowing it up. Definitely knew that this was going to be a possibility. I took some extra safety precautions with the gloves and a face shield. But it's good I can show you which way not to do it, that way you don't make the same mistake. A more preferred method to seal up your glass containers is with a clear silicone glue. And so now I just have to keep my eye on it for the next storm to see if we have any results. But thanks for checking out this video on the storm glass and for tuning in to the Jasa channel.